Okay, so a lot of conversation about the quarterback battle for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 2024, and deservedly so. Although I'm going to come on here and talk about my personal take on it and what I think is going to be the case. What is going on, everybody? I am Mac, back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link down in the box below. So yes, in this video, I'm going to be talking about Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and about who I think is the better fit and who I think should win the QB1 starter job for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 2024. Now, Mike Tomlin has come out and said that pretty much right to Justin Fields that Justin Fields is there as the backup option. And Fields has stated that, saying that he's ready for a new beginning. So it seems like he's accepting it, and it seems like he knows what he's here for. But then again, so does Russell Wilson if he took the league minimum, or the veteran minimum, rather, I should say. But I've narrowed it down to 5 overall categories that makes me decide who I personally think should be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers and who should be the backup. And let's get on to it. I got a lot to talk about here. I don't want to waste any more time. So I'm going to start with experience first, and I'm going to say it right now. Russell Wilson has the edge here. He started in 204 games, and and he has almost 5 times the amount of games that Justin Fields has started in the NFL. And he's won 124 games, and he's won 9 playoff games. So Russell Wilson has a very overwhelming edge in this department right here, because experience does buy you a lot of advantages in the NFL. Russell Wilson's been around since 2012, and he's seen pretty much everything that a quarterback can see when it comes to taking the football field. He's been involved with several different offenses, and I think that's going to get him adjusted to another new one coming in here with Arthur Smith and, a bunch of younger players in 2024, which I think adds that veteran role to him. And Russell Wilson has also been able to have a really good understanding about how an NFL season can just have that fluidity and how it can flow. So really having a veteran who can provide a good perspective and can be a mentor, especially to a younger guy like Justin Fields, is really good to have on your side right here. So I think Russell Wilson easily wins that department right there. Not saying that Justin Fields doesn't have experience. I mean, he does. He started 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears, but I'm talking about overall longevity, and Russell Wilson does have that edge right there. So now I'm going to talk about the upside right here, and this is honestly kind of close right here. And what I'm talking about right here is overall where the quarterbacks are at their current juncture of their career. So, yeah, Russell Wilson, he's looking to perform better than he did with the Denver Broncos. And I think he is set up nicely to have a bounce back season, at least in 2024. But overall, a lot of the fan base, myself included, for as much as I like that we got him here, we largely know what we're going to be getting from Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. This is going to be his age 36 season. And while he still can run, it wasn't what it once was with his legs. And as he gets older, that's only going to mean he's going to get less mobile, because let's face it, your legs don't get stronger with age. The big question for me personally is how well he can have the maneuverability in the pocket in avoiding pass rushers, because Russell Wilson's already the 4th most sacked quarterback in NFL history, and he's been the most sacked quarterback in the NFL since 2021, and especially behind this offensive line, which definitely still needs patch-up work to do, especially with center. That's an area of concern right there. As for throwing the ball, Russell Wilson's still pretty accurate. He's still really good at taking care of the ball, too. You don't see a lot of turnovers with him. He has one of the best touchdown to interception ratios in NFL history. And there really hasn't been a big, steep drop as far as the deep ball accuracy goes with Russell Wilson either. But another big concern with him is that the amount of times that he's going to be getting hit and the amount of times that he has been hit. Like I said, he's the most sacked quarterback in the league since 2021, and in 2022 alone he was sacked 55 times. So that's pretty eye-popping right there. So I mean, I think you're looking at a guy who's going to take care of the ball real well, but the hits are really going to take their toll at some point, and it may be starting already with Russell Wilson. But yeah, man, that's a big area of concern right there if you're looking to have Russell Wilson being your starter. Then you got to take a look at Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is a little bit guilty of it as well because he's been sacked a lot since 2022 as well. And he has like I said, I mean, he has taken his fair share of hits, but the guy's only 25 years old. So he's still, kind of like a student of the game, not at the point to where like he's a baby to where like you got to keep holding his hand. He's still kind of learning a little bit more. And, he has a lot more, I would say durability than Russell Wilson does at this point. But with that being said, accuracy is my biggest concern with Justin Fields. And that's why, if you're going to make him the starter, that's why I'm not on board with it, pretty much because of the accuracy alone. He's only completed 61.4% of his passes last season, and it's still a low percentage, even by today's standards in the NFL, where it's predicated around the quarterback having good percentages and throwing for a lot of yards. There's also been, the narrative with him that the pass rush that he faced when he was in Chicago played a factor in it as well. But I think that just kind of bleeds into Russell Wilson's case, where he's going to be behind an offensive line that just needs a lot of patch-up work, but it's still a concern if you're looking at it for Justin Fields. I think that he needs to learn how to get rid of the ball faster, and I think he needs to learn how to be able to process a decision quicker. And I think that's one of the reasons, aside from the O-line, why he was sacked a lot in Chicago. So, yeah, Russell Wilson also has a problem with holding on to the ball too much, but Russell Wilson has always had that surveying the field ability better than Justin Fields has. But the turning point here is, like Russell Wilson, Justin Fields does have a strong arm when he needs to gun it down the field, and he's not afraid to use it. And he's also real good when it comes to, he has his moments where he's good at taking care of the ball. He does fumble the ball a lot, which is my second biggest concern with Justin Fields. He does fumble a lot. He has 38 fumbles. And then you got to take a look at his running too. Justin Fields is a dynamic runner. He's a very good, prolific runner. And it's vastly different than Russell Wilson at this point in time because, like I said, you're looking at a 36-year-old whose legs are not going to get stronger with age versus a 25-year-old who still has a good set of wheels on him, and he still can run for a lot of yards when his number's called. So I just think it comes down to decision making, and it comes down to being able to handle the ball better for Justin Fields. So you got to look, in that 2022 season, Justin Fields actually had the second greatest rushing season by a quarterback in NFL history, and his mobility makes him a very good dual threat. So this one was really close, but I'm going to give it to Justin Fields on this one right here as far as upside goes, because like I said, you're looking at two quarterbacks who both can use their legs efficiently, both are not afraid to take deep risk passes with their arms, and they do have strong arms. But with me, it comes down to age. And Justin Fields is still a student of the game, while Russell Wilson is more towards his twilight than he is towards his prime. So, again, it was really close, but with upside, I got to give it to Justin Fields. Then you got to take a look at overall ability. And, I just talked about this. I just talked about this because Russell Wilson is the more accurate quarterback, in my opinion, and he's really capable of winning games. You got a guy who can definitely win you, 10, 12 games. At least I think he can. He's proven it so many times with the Seattle Seahawks, and he was just set up very poorly in Denver. So you're looking at a winner in Russell Wilson, but you got to take a look at Justin Fields as well. His mobility, like I said, makes him very dangerous, and he's capable of making more big plays at this juncture of his career than Russell Wilson is, and his ability to extend plays as well. I said in my video the other day that Justin Fields kind of gives me that Cordell Stewart kind of vibes, and I think his play justifies that. And like I just noted before, Fields is more durable at this point than Russell Wilson is too. And I think, as I said earlier, the amount of hits that Russ has taken are going to start to wear him down even more than what he is right now. Not that I'm saying that Russell Wilson's washed up or, he's completely out of gas. You're still getting some pretty good stuff out of Russell Wilson. But again, it comes down to age and it comes down to durability. And I think Justin Fields takes that category right there. Next up, I'm going to be looking at overall intangibles, because you take a look at a guy like Russell Wilson, he has the leadership, and you have a guy that can be a mentor to younger players, and that showed largely when he was in Seattle, and it showed when he was in Denver as well. Not so much that it may not be for everyone with Russell Wilson as far as his days in Denver went, but I think when you look at a quarterback like him, you're going to get players that gravitate towards a style of leadership, and you're looking for a guy that can conduct an offense. And, people can get turned off by something like that, but if there's one thing that the Pittsburgh Steelers have really lacked since Big Ben retired, it's leadership. And I think you're definitely getting that out of Russell Wilson. And he's starting to fit real nicely ever since he came on over to Pittsburgh. And, there were very big reports that he was recruited by TJ Watt. He was recruited by Cam Hayward. He was recruited by Minka, among others. And when he was going through his options, he looked at those guys and he was like, yeah, those are the guys that I want to play for. Those are the type of guys that I want to have as teammates right there. And the three of them concurred with it. So, you saw it when he was spending time with players. He went to dinner with a couple of them, I think. You saw it in his press conference where he was speaking highly about the players. And, you get it. Like, Russell Wilson definitely is starting to become a fan favorite here in Pittsburgh, and you love to see it. That definitely puts points up on him. Like I said, Russell Wilson does have the winning pedigree, which I think does give him an advantage over Russell Wilson here. But I think it kind of depends more on who they are personally as well. And while Justin Fields does have that winner mentality, but it really only showed when he was in college, when he was at Ohio State, because there were a lot of teammates there that really respected him. And there were a lot of teammates that really, looked up to Justin Fields right there. But, this is the NFL now. This is a professional league. What you did in college doesn't translate to what you do in the NFL. So it's more of like that he's not really a true viable winner until proven otherwise. which is why I think Russell Wilson kind of wins this category by default right here. Not saying that Justin Fields can't get in that leadership role, and not saying that he can't become a winner. But right now, if you're talking about who I trust more when the Steelers are trailing in a game and they need a comeback drive to happen, I want the ball in Russell Wilson's hands because, like I said when we first got him, ninth all time in fourth quarter comebacks and game winning drives. That's the kind of clutch gene that we're looking for in Pittsburgh. And I think this one goes to Russell Wilson. And my final category here, it comes down to who I personally think is the better fit for this particular Pittsburgh Steelers team. You know, this team features a mishmash of players that are young and players that have been here long enough to become leaders. And while I just did mention guys like TJ and Cam and Minka, you got to take a look at the offensive side of the ball right here, too, because after all, we are talking about quarterbacks at the end of the day. The Steelers' offense is good, but it doesn't really have the talent or continuity that a lot of other teams in the league have. I mean, we definitely know the Steelers do have potential and they do have sparks on offense, but they really are just missing that one last piece that could be a quarterback for all we know. Maybe it could be a lineman. Maybe it could be even guys like Najee Harris or Jalen Warren. Who knows? But a quarterback, especially in today's league, can definitely give you that spark and that continuity that can conduct an offense right there. Let's take a look at Justin Fields. He's coming from a bad situation with the Chicago Bears. He was, set up for failure there because the Bears are just a very poorly ran organization. It's been that way for decades for them now. The team never really could build a complete offense around him, and they doomed him. Now, over here in Pittsburgh, it's going to be better for him. I personally think that. But with that being said, it's still going to take a little bit of time for him to get comfortable playing inside a new offense with new teammates and a new offensive system as well under Arthur Smith. I think Justin Fields can benefit under Arthur Smith because Arthur Smith does like to implement the run game a lot, but it still stands to reason that he's coming in with new players. He's coming in with a new head coach too in Mike Tomlin, and he's going to have to adapt to that. Not saying it's going to be easy for Russell Wilson. It may be a challenge for him as well too. But I think Russell Wilson is a little bit more equipped to handle the challenge and the change as well, just because this is his third team that he's going to be on in the past 3 seasons. Justin Fields isn't used to that transition. He's been with the Chicago Bears for 3 years, whereas Russell Wilson, he has more experience with that, where he went from Seattle to Denver, now on over to Pittsburgh. So Russell Wilson does have more experience in that department right there. Like I said before, he's played with different offenses. He's conducted different offenses over the course of his career, and he's had to adjust to leaving and entering teammates and even coaching changes at numerous points in his career as well. Like I said, Justin Fields hasn't had to go through that yet. And on top of that, with the offensive leader that the Steelers have, with, maybe not a leader, I should say, but with the new offensive system, it's kind of 50-50 on who can benefit more from it. And typically in situations like this, I tend to go with who has more of the experience. And I think with Russell Wilson's strength in this area, and it was surely a big reason why the Steelers wanted him and recruited him here pretty much, I think that gives the edge. The Steelers are, very eager to get back to the Super Bowl. Omar Khan is hitting all the right buttons. Omar Khan is scouting well. He's aggressive in free agency. And with Russell Wilson, we now have the upgraded quarterback. And Russell Wilson has been to 2 Super Bowls, and he knows how to perform well in the playoffs. Justin Fields has not had that opportunity yet to perform in the limelight and perform in the big stage, but Russell Wilson is there. And when you're a Steeler fan, your mission and your priority and your ultimate goal is, can this guy win a playoff game for us? And can this guy bring a Lombardi for us? Like I said, Justin Fields has not had that opportunity yet, where Russell Wilson has been there a good portion of his career. So overall, I think you're looking at 2 quarterbacks that can benefit with this offense, especially with the coordinator. But with me, how well Russell Wilson plays and how well Justin Fields does adapting to this new environment is going to determine if things stay this way. So I think really the better overall fit is Russell Wilson. Because like I said, he has the experience, he has the leadership role, he has he knows how to play with the pressure. It seems like he's a little more thought-provoking. And overall, you're just looking at a guy who just knows how to deal with transitions well. And he knows how to deal with this kind of stuff better than a guy who's at age 25 and he doesn't, and this is his first time going through something like this. So I personally think, so with all this being said, it was a lot closer than I thought about who should be the starter personally for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But upon further analysis, I think it should be Russell Wilson who should be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers. While Justin Fields is learning under him, he has the opportunity to better his game. And really, at the end of the day, if Russell Wilson just performs badly, or if Russell Wilson gets injured, you're getting a viable backup who has playing experience, and he may even be the best backup quarterback in the league. So really, and plus, if either of these guys don't perform well, it doesn't cost the Steelers anything in the grand scheme of things, based on what their deals are with Omar Khan. And I think you have a lot to credit him with that personally. So in conclusion, my final verdict, Russell Wilson is your starter. Justin Fields, I think he's going to, have a great opportunity to learn from an experienced veteran who knows how to win and knows how to conduct an offense. And maybe if Justin Fields does get his opportunity, I think he can, I really think he does have the intangibles to perform well. So like I said, I mean, I know I've said it before. I'm not the biggest fan of Justin Fields, but looking at what each quarterback has to bring to the table, it really is a lot closer than what I thought about who should be QB1, because I thought Russell Wilson blew Justin Fields out of the water. But with all the points I went over and looking at how both quarterbacks have played at this point of time in the NFL, it really was a lot closer than I thought. But I think personally, like I said, Russell Wilson has to be your starter based on the experience and that he knows how to go through transitions like this. But anyway, that's my video. That's all I got. And let me know what you think down in the comments. Who do you think should be the starter? And let me know what you think. This is Mac checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.